So again, here we go again. So the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, if I got his name right, but now he's mad at the United Nations and NATO because he didn't get the air support that he wanted. So what is he gonna do now? His plans didn't go through. I mean, what did he think he was gonna do? You know? Okay, he wanted to prove that he wanted to protect his country, which is all right to do, right? And his people. But he's thinking that he was in medieval times, you know, going barbaric and things like that. It's like going New York City, going against a whole state like Connecticut, let's say. A whole state against a city only. Of course you're gonna get ran over. But so now Zelensky, right, the Ukraine president, is upset at NATO and calling them weak. You know, he got into himself into this problem, and now he's gonna blame other people where he could have stopped it when he knew that he was getting bombarded. And he could have stopped it a long time ago himself, and he wouldn't gone through so much death for his people, right? Because his people was the one that was in danger. Not only that, women's also stood behind to protect their country. I think it was the pride got to him. You know, I don't know if he knew that we was in the 21st century, that technology is high up there, and he was fighting like a barbaric war, thinking that, you know, like Vikings, that he was gonna overrun the enemy. I guess he wasn't thinking rational. I don't know what, when he went to the West and they told him when he was up there, everything was all right. But when he got back to the country, you know, everything changed. He was the paradox. He wasn't thinking right. You know, like they say, when you create war, or you know, you want to fight a war, you gotta have your boots tied up right. You know, you can't go with your boots unlaced, not knowing what you're gonna get into. So now he's mad that the United Nations and NATO didn't give him the air support that he needed, or the support that he needed. You know, I guess he didn't know that they couldn't get involved. He should have known it was all over. They can't get involved to avoid nuclear disaster, World War III, because his neighbor said that if anybody interferes in his territories, in his business and his own affairs, that he's gonna release nuclear arsenal on any country that gets involved. So that was what they was trying to avoid. But I don't know what the president of Ukraine and his people are gonna do. Are they gonna retaliate now on the West and the United Nations? Are they gonna try to, you know, assassinate any official out there? Because I know these people are really angry now. But you know, war, it's not what you think, that you can make demands while you're fighting. You know, a soldier's a soldier, and a soldier's unto death. You can't cry and then get on the phone and start asking for favors where you're at war. You know, wars is how should we say it? It's not fair for anybody. It's whatever it takes to win, right? And if Russia really wanted to bombard them, he could have bombarded them from distance, right, day and night. But there was giving chances at them, because a real nation that was at war with another nation, he wouldn't spend his time trying to fight a nation that would give him resistance. They would have been bombarded day and night by rockets, you know, gunships, air, by sea. You know, he should be lucky that he's alive, and a lot of his comrades died because they believe in their head that they could win a war like that. But I know it's best that it's over, and whatever's left of these people could live and return, if they're gonna return, because you know, Ukraine now is a mess. And I don't know what the United Nations is thinking now, because he nationally addressed them as weak and cowards. So what he's gonna do now, and his people, they're gonna go against the West and the European nations and his allies. You should have never got involved. Let me tell you, the West and United Nations are masters of corruption and lies. And you just got caught up on it. You're a government official, you should know that everything is politics. And politics is never straight. You know, and the best man wins in politics. People lose and people win. You either stand and lose and live to fight another day, or you're gonna go home crying. Don't cry that you lost the war, things like that. At least you're still living, and you got a place to live. That's all I gotta say. But war is not good for any country. And remember, if the countries would have got in there, they would have triggered a nuclear holocaust. The whole country would have been in disasters, just because one country decided to resist another country that was more powerful than them. It goes to every country. You're not the first country that got invaded. So that's why a lot of people are mad. And another thing is that the Ukraine people did nationally, and they got exposed that you were discriminating on color people, color nations. So you was wrong from the beginning for doing that. If somebody tells you from other nations they gotta leave, they're not gonna fight a war that doesn't pertain to them or doesn't benefit them, everybody should have the right to exit. But you was unfair and you mistreated people from other nations just because there wasn't Ukrainian, and that's a no-no. So you're not as good as you want people to think, because it's on national TV and it was exposed all over the news. So your Ukrainians is not as good as you say you are. So don't ask for pity, because you didn't show pity to our color nations and countries that were there. You discriminate on them. So why should others show pity for you? They gave you enough support, everything you asked. At least you got something. You didn't get everything, but you got something. There's other countries that they have nobody to defend them if something like that will happen. So that's all I gotta say. And with that, I let you go. In America, you better watch your back, because these Ukrainians just called you weak.